Welcome again to a mini episode of Beer Culture Web Show, and we're doing a little buzz builder. Here with all friends of mine. I got the winner of the ugly Christmas sweater competition, Levi. Very good. Welcome. Thanks for coming all the way out. I appreciate it. Awesome. And Justin, once again.
How's it going?
Appreciate you coming out last night to Coachella Valley. Coachella Valley, I almost said homebrew. Coachella Valley Brewing on Thousand Palms, California.
It was pretty interesting.
It was good, right? You shouldn't have as big a crowd as we had hoped for, but it was interesting, watching people get drunk and paint.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of it, the first thing I said to Justin was, this is going to get tougher as it goes along, because they're just drinking and painting, and after a while, you're just like, I was like, here's the first bottle and here's the last bottle.
Yeah.
But they actually seemed to get better. Like as they got more buzz, they got better, and they actually produced some pretty cool little paintings.
Wow.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And I got one at the end, so one of you might get that painting for Christmas. But
There you go.
I've been told I should go home and just do a few touch-ups on it and make it my own. That's what somebody told me to do, so I'm thinking about it right now. So for this mini episode, what we're going to do is a little beer sharing. And we're going to unwrap 3 different beers, and each one of us is going to talk about the beer he brought and why he brought that beer, and then we're going to get on one of our phones and we're going to rate the beer, because everybody knows I'm really big on the ratings. I believe they say a lot for the regular consumer out there. And for all you out there, it's not as hard as you think to pick your phone up and walk into a beer aisle and tap out the name of a beer and figure out whether that beer falls into that rating. Anything of an 84 or 85 or higher, you're going to get a pretty good beer. It's not going to let you down. So let's get right into it, because I'm kind of getting thirsty.
Yeah, I'm parched. Yeah.
All right. So this is my selection. Dun, 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 dun. Yes.
Haven't had that one yet.
Yes. This is by Ninkasi Brewing Company, and it is Vanilla Otis. And it is a vanilla oatmeal stout. And I was really excited when I saw that, so we'll have to get a little close-up shot here in a minute. But I was pretty excited when I saw it, and I was actually ran into a guy from Highmark, a distribution guy from Highmark. And he was, trying to get me to buy Bourbon County and other stuff, and I was just like, no, I'm cool. I'm kind of just looking for my own thing. And he came up and suggested that beer, and I was like, wow, that's kind of strange to have a Budweiser rep suggesting this beer to me.
Yeah.
So, and I like Ninkasi, so I got on my phone and I beer rated it, and beer rate's pretty high, up in the 90s. I think it was a 98. We'll check that out here in a minute. And after some conversation, he wants to follow us on Facebook.
Very nice.
And he would like to do a little mini episode with us and try some beers.
Good deal.
And I told him that's fine as long as he doesn't bring anything from Anheuser-Busch. so you're more than welcome. As long as you don't bring anything from Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
So that's just fine, All right. So that's my speech to him. Huh?
You gonna open that thing or what?
Yeah, we're going to get down right now. We're going to see what's up. Well, let's do a rating real quick. Let's do that. How about when you open and pour, and I'm going to get on the ratings right now. This is something I want to do so everybody sees how easy this is to do. So we got Ninkasi. So we're just going to go right in here and search that up. If I can get out of this stupid Facebook conversation.
Good luck with that.
Don't judge me. All right, and it is Otis. There it is. Boom. And this is what I want everybody to see out there in the world. Is, and Jason, make sure they can see that. Awesome. So as you can see, right there, Beer Advocate and Rate Beer were the first 2 to come up in the search engine. Just that easy. And there it is. Rating at a 97. Excellent. Just like that. I think it went down 1 point since I did the search when I bought that video. But there it is. It's right there. It's rating at a 97. That in beer ratings, that puts it at a world-class rating. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Happy holidays.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, that is roasty.
Alcohol on this, 7.2.
Yeah, not too heavy.
No. Yeah? Yeah. I think when I think oatmeal stouts, I'm always looking for maybe a bit more mouthfeel than that. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little light on the mouthfeel. It's coming across extremely roasty, almost a coffee.
That's good stuff.
But that vanilla is in a good place. The vanilla is in a good place. It's not too overpowering. It's mellow in there. It's tucked down inside where it belongs.
What are your thoughts there, Levi?
Well, it's actually funny that you brought Ninkasi Otis, because over at the Props and Hops Festival, this was one of my big sellers. As I went over to Ninkasi and I mean, the bottle was just sitting there. I didn't go after one of the taps. I saw the bottle. I'm like, I'm gonna have one.
Yeah.
I gave him like 3 tickets. I'm like, just pour it all the way to the top.
Nice.
And I did, and I automatically fell in love.
It's a great
Because exactly like you said, my stouts, I prefer my stouts to be a little bit weaker, but I mean the vanilla, it's not overpowering,
No, it's not.
and I mean it perfectly adds to it, especially in the winter months.
Yes.
That when people talk about a breakfast stout and you start thinking about drinking your beer on Christmas morning at like 11 o'clock, that's the beer right there,
Yeah.
man. That's, that look at you have with that. That goes with chocolate, that goes with cake, that goes with ribs, that goes with...
So you're eating chocolate cake and ribs in the morning for breakfast?
Sometimes.
Okay.
It depends on what I had to drink the night before. I mean, hangovers, you got to do what you got to do.
Good point.
That should be a whole nother mini episode. Hangover recovery episode. What's the right thing to do the next day? That's
really
absolutely
good.
refreshing.
And one thing I've noticed with stouts is, you get through that first little bit, like through half the glass, and then that last half of the glass just really weighs down on you. It's not as fresh. The taste isn't there.
See, for me, I mean, with some stouts, the more they warm, the more flavor you start to get out of them, the better they start to taste. And that's usually,
I agree.
For me, usually the higher alcohol ones, 8, 9, 10, 11%. But I mean, this is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Ninkasi Brewing Company is out of Eugene, Oregon. And this is their Vanilla Otis Oatmeal Stout with vanilla. 7.2% alcohol by volume. And it is of their flagship series. Then it's got, I like that it's got its original gravity, bitterness units, and its alcohol by volume. A lot of people don't understand what that means. You see the OG, the FG.
Yeah.
It used to be one of the things that I think should be on a beer coaster. Just like OG minus FG equals times 131 equals ABV. Figure this one out. Show your work, baby. Figure that equation out.
Yeah.
You can figure that equation out, you win a prize.
See, this is already at like a really, really good temperature. It's not really cold.
No, it's not.
But
It's
not.
good.
It's not room temperature, and the vanilla. I don't get a ton of vanilla, but I mean, you can definitely tell it's there.
And I think I enjoy that. I think I enjoy the fact that it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that too. I'm not a big fruit beer guy. I'm not. I'm not. There's a guy at my work, and everybody knows I'm a beer snob, and everybody knows that we're working on this project. And he just wanted to chime in. He wanted to, hey guy, check out what. And he's like, hey, I had a beer the other day. I'm like, yeah. He's like, it was this blueberry weed. I'm like, be ashamed of yourself, sir.
Wow.
For shame, sir. Step away from me. Don't come at me with blueberry wheats. I am an IPA man. Like, my beer snob just poured out. He felt bad, I felt bad later, but I was like, whatever. I'm a beer snob. Don't come at me with your blueberry wheats. That goes on your pancakes, sir.
I was just thinking that.
That's supposed to be in a PB&J. It's not supposed to be in a beer.
But there was a time when you were like that too, and there was a time when I was like that, and
Absolutely.
you got to educate people.
Yeah, it's an educational process. Maybe I hurt his feelings. What a rude guy I was at that moment. What a beer snob I was right there. Damn it.
It happens.
Where were you guys to check me when I needed you?
It's something you have to live up to.
Mike, I'm sorry. Sorry I hurt your feelings about the blueberry wheat. Cheers, sir. I will buy you one for Christmas. Or I'll give you a painting of beer bottles.
There you go.
I got
There you
one.
go.
It's
I just need to sign it. I just gotta get home and sign that thing.
Oh man.
And we're back with Beer Culture Webshow, and we're here for our second selection of the evening with Levi. What'd you bring us, man?
I brought you an awesome wrapping job, first off.
Yes, I love it. It's very nice. Thank you.
Hold the judgment, okay? Because it's not what's on the outside.
Yeah,
Let's see what's...
I paid good money for worse wrapping jobs than that. Right?
That's right.
Right? All right. So we have a little bit of Stone because where I came from, up in Oceanside, gotta love Stone being readily available on almost any block you want.
Right.
Good thing. So what we have right here is the Stone Limited Winter Edition Smoked Porter with Vanilla Bean, which actually fits in with the first beer that you introduced.
Yeah, mine was an oatmeal stout.
Yeah, with vanilla. So this one just happens to have the vanilla as well, and it'll be interesting to be able to compare them side by side.
Sweet. You guys want to get into pouring that?
Stone makes some really good beers too.
They do.
They're especially this year. They had some home runs with their collaborations, man. That Dayman Coffee IPA was excellent.
This is a smoked porter, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, that comes up. Very good.
Smoked porter with vanilla bean. They did one a couple years ago with Chipotle as well.
Now last year, wasn't it? These were only in the 12 ounce, and the Chipotle were only in the 12 ounce, right?
Right.
Ooh, you beat me in ratings. This is a 97.
And this one, they had a poll on their website asking the fans which one of their past limited releases they wanted to bring back. Mm-hmm. And this one came in first. And I think the Dayman came in second. And I don't remember what came in third, but this was really good last time I had it from 2011.
He's like, get every drop out of that bottle. I'll squeeze that bottle. So 10 years after we first released Stone Smoked Porter, small batch brewer Laura Ulrich had a brilliant idea. What if she added whole Madagascar vanilla beans to a small batch of the finished beer? Very good. And that smoked comes through like
It does.
But it's not overpowering. It's not like drinking an ashtray, but it's there. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's
oh, that's much
yeah.
crisper carbonation.
Yeah.
Wow, that's your beer's winning so far. I'm sorry. As far as my selection of the night so far, that one's wow. That roastiness is just so forward front. Boom, man.
Yeah.
I think the vanilla sits in a much better place in that beer. It's just no disrespect to Nicosity. It's a great beer. It's phenomenal, but that just really is a well balanced beer. Cheers.
Vanilla comes out a little bit,
Cheers.
a little bit later, and
Oh,
just
God. Yeah, a
evens it
little
out.
later almost. Yeah. And I think again, what Justin said, that beer is a little warmed up right now. I think that's really enhancing it almost. Yeah. And some of us fall into that pattern. I'm super guilty of it. I want to chill my beer. I want to chill my glass. I want to put them together. And I know Justin. He's not a chill glass guy. He's almost warming beers up a little bit.
I used to keep my glasses in the freezer, but then I realized that I don't want my beer to be ice cold when I drink it. So I took the glasses out of the freezer. And sometimes I'll even let the beer sit out for 5 or 10 minutes.
And once you find that zone, once you get used to that in your palate, then you don't go back.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more and more of that, where I'm starting to use, non-chill glasses, and that's such an enjoyable beer right there.
Yeah.
That's really good. Much respect to that.
It's really it's a 5.9% too.
A lower ABV, very good. Wow. That is a dessert beer to me.
Like I said, Stone knows what they're doing, man.
Absolutely, for sure.
They
We've talked about that, where there's breweries where you don't chase any of their primary lineup, but you really go after all their specialty type beers. But there's some breweries that everything from beginning to end, you're comfortable. You're drinking it all. It's good, and I think Stone's like that. Have you seen the mix pack they have out now?
Yeah, the mixed 6-pack or 12-pack.
Yeah, I'm pretty on that thing right now because it's got Levitation, IPA, Ruination, and then the Oat Bastard. And just I almost drink it in that pattern every time. Those are the 4 beers of the day, just in that pattern. And by the time you get to the Ruination, I'm just like, oh, it's so hoppy, so hoppy.
Speaking of Ruination, what do you think of the Ruin 10?
I thought it was pretty phenomenal. I thought it was just a really good, hop forward, solid. Almost a palate wrecker a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That was. It came out last year was the first time they brewed it for their 10th anniversary. That was the one beer that I was just hoping they would re-release, and they put it out again this year. And it was, a lot of people said it was a little different, but to me, it was exactly the same beer, and it was amazing.
Any kind of beer like that's a continual release, it should be a little different every time. It should never be the exact same beer.
Well,
you know, a seasonal release like that, there should be some variant to it because they're chasing that program. They're chasing. I think all the beers we drink constantly vary a little bit from beer to beer, but we drink them so constant we don't see that.
yeah.
You know, like we talked about Celebration, it's not the same beer this year that it was last year. It's a really drinkable ale, a great fresh ale, but it's not as IPA as it was last year.
Yeah.
You know, last year it was really a big IPA beer, and it had a lot of hop forwardness to it. You know, and I think a lot of that is lost this year.
Yeah, I haven't tried it this year. I need to get on trying that before it's gone. But Stone, like I said, this year with their collaborations and their special releases,
Yeah.
I mean they've had some home runs.
Well, I think the roasty and the vanilla of this one come together perfectly. I think I would give that beer. So right now it's a top rated beer for me of the night. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. We still got to see what Justin's selection is.
Yeah, definitely. And
And
to me, this one, the vanilla doesn't come out as much with this as it did with the Ninkasi.
yeah,
It's
No,
a little
no,
bit more
no.
hidden.
It's way down. Yeah, it's back in there a lot more.
See, I'm a fan of whatever I see on the label. I want to taste it in the beer, and
talked
to
about
me, I see Stone smoked porter with vanilla beans. So I'm assuming I'm going to taste, you know, a smoked beer with a little bit of vanilla. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what I get here with that one. With the Ninkasi, it says vanilla Otis right on it, so I'm expecting that to be very vanilla forward,
Yeah.
which it was, but it wasn't overpowering. But like I said, this is, you know, I read the bottle and that's exactly what I taste or what I expect when I see the bottle there, with the smoke, with a little bit of vanilla in it.
And I think it was great that we were able to try a vanilla porter and a vanilla stout. It really kind of, I think I lean a little more towards porters. I think I do. I really do tend to lean a little more towards porters. I love a good stout though, and I know you love stouts.
I was kind of actually comparing craft brewing to music, because, and I know I'm the same way, is it all what you're drinking at the time, what you open your fridge and pull out, really depends upon your mood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, same thing with my music. My music, what I'm listening to, really depends on my mood, and what I reach for really does. I'm not as big of an IPA fan, but when I do, that's what I want. And I want, my first one was I think the first really good IPA that I had was the Racer 5, and then for me the second one was the Stone IPA, and those are my two baselines.
Those are a lot sweeter IPAs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I tend to go towards like drier, crisper IPAs, but both of those right there are phenomenal. Like they're phenomenal IPAs.
Yeah, and then
It's a great base.
my go-to beer is more like the Browns.
Yeah.
Very good. We'll have to do a little show on that, a little mini episode on that, because I don't drink a lot of browns.
Yeah,
I can get into some craft browns and
Browns
re-educate my palate.
Browns are one of my favorite styles, man. It's just there's not a ton of good brown ales out there. Like Rogue's got their hazelnut brown, which is excellent. Big Sky has the Moose Drool. Levitation is technically a brown ale, I think.
I think it is. Very hop forward.
Yeah, but there aren't a ton of brown ales out there. But yeah, we should definitely do that.
All right, well, let's finish this one up and move on to the next beer. We're ready for our third beer here on our holiday beer sharing on Beer Culture Web Show. And luckily, we've had a couple of stouts tonight between Levi's awesome sweater, his beard, and the stouts. I'm all toasty inside. I feel all good inside.
I do that to people.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that good? That was a little good. I thought about that earlier and thought, I gotta say that on camera.
That's kind of what I go for.
You make us all toasty inside?
Yeah.
That's
men
awesome.
and women alike.
That's wow. That's a skill.
It's a little bit of a different feeling between the sexes, but
Yeah, that's good. It's like, you know, that's good. It's a good skill to have. All
it's like love and jealousy.
Great. And I do have to go back to the topic on last night. Me and you discussed this last night, how Levi and his beer will both be here tonight. Levi and his beer.
Because we're two separate.
They are two entities, two independent entities traveling together. And we have said that we feel that every time you're a co-host with us, that you should shave your beard in a different way.
Shave or shape?
Shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shape.
Okay. Shape.
Shape in a different way.
I like that word.
Like
way
one time
better
we could
than
have
shape.
Fu Manchu,
Yeah.
one time we could have like big pork chops, and
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
I dig it. You know,
That's awesome.
I've done some weird stuff before. You know, in the middle of Iraq, I shaved I shaved an Adidas A on one side and a Nike swoosh on the other, and walked around all day.
Nice. There you go. Just
So
do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Sweet.
it's a battle royale.
We're gonna do that. Next episode's coming up next Friday.
Yeah.
We'll do something creative.
I'll be here.
All right, and now it's Justin's turn to present. And what do we got?
This is the Dreadnought Double IPA from Three Floyds.
I'm so excited. Love IPAs.
Three Floyds is in Munster, Indiana, and they don't really distribute very far outside of their location there. They get to Chicago and maybe a couple of places in Ohio, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a double IPA. It's a 9.5%, and it is it's excellent. And for the ratings, it's a
I'm digging it out right now.
98 on Rate Beer and a 100 on Beer Advocate for
Wow.
those of you that like to keep up on the ratings.
You know I do, and I just brought it up right now, and there it is. It's a 100 right now in Rate Beer.
Is it?
Yeah, that's pretty up there.
I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite double IPAs.
Yeah, that's pretty high ratings. Wow, that puts it in a world-class beer rating for all you people out there in the world of future beer craft beer drinkers.
All right, so for those future craft brewers out there, what makes the difference between a single IPA and a double IPA?
Very good question. And usually it's ABV.
Mm-hmm.
You want to finish with that? You just had a thought.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be anything over like 7.5%, 8%. They're calling it a double or an imperial IPA. And it's really, double IPAs seem to be a little more malty, whereas the single IPA is a little more crisp and I mean, not necessarily light, but not as thick, I guess you would call it, as a double IPA can be sometimes. I mean, there are some double IPAs out there that you might not be able to tell right away by drinking it that it's a double IPA, but some of them are a little more malty than a single IPA.
Okay. So it's really in that ABV, the alcohol by volume,
Yeah.
that will determine where it's at.
Thank you.
So you can pretty much trust in the fact that if you're drinking a double IPA, you're going to get a much more hop forward, much more malt back, and a much bigger alcohol kick to it.
Okay.
But it's not double in alcohol, man. But oh my god, that smells so good. The floral in that is just intense.
Yeah, it's really good.
Whoa. They talked about a couple flavors on the reading on this bottle.
Yeah.
Hophead's Dream Beer, the Imperial India Pale Ale, has an opening salvo of mango and peach and citrus hop aromas that sit atop a pronounced caramel and malt backbone. I totally agree with that. I really feel that I'm not a big fan of getting into a beer and trying to find the peach, trying to find the pineapple, trying to find those. But when an IPA represents itself correctly, when the hops get to tell the story they're supposed to, it's there. And that one is such a well-balanced double IPA. It's really, really well-balanced. It's not a palate wrecker at all.
Yeah.
It's too smooth for 9%. Like, that's too drinkable. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not one to sit there and try to pick out, try to find out all the different flavors, because I mean, my palate, I don't think it's refined enough to do that to begin with. But I mean, at the same time, I think it kind of starts to take away from enjoying the beer when you're trying to sit there and pick out all the different flavors in it. I mean, when the flavors are prominent and right there, you can say I definitely this, and this, and this. I might taste two different things, and he might taste something completely different than I do, and you might taste something completely different than the both of us.
Let's do this one on this. What's the thing that hits you best on this one? Because for me, it's dry. It's a really dry IPA. It's not overwhelmingly sweet. There's not a lot of residual in that sweet flavor. The hops last, they hit that palate hard and they last. And there is that good fruit front to it.
Yeah.
That they say it's a little bit of mango or citrus, whatever. All I know is it's got a good fruit front.
Yeah.
It's dry and crisp, and it's just hop forward, man. Hop monster.
When I take when I smell it, you can smell the fruit right at the base of it, and then leave your airways open while you take a drink and you hit that, and it's not the overpowering IPA. It's actually like refreshing.
Yeah.
Where on a hot day, this could be in a good dream.
Yeah.
Drinking something like this on a hot day, you come in and just because of that super basic kind of, I'll go back to the vanilla, that kind of hidden fruit essence in that.
Mhm.
I think it's one of those dangerous beers. You know, it drinks so smooth and it's so refreshing. If somebody ordered that in a bar and they didn't know that it was a double IPA, you know, if you didn't have the right person educating you, your right weight or whatever,
Right.
you're just like, this is awesome. I'm having pizza and this is a super cool beer. It's so fruity. And you normally drink Coors Light or you normally drink Shock Top, you're done for. This beer would kick your butt. You're like, this is serious beer.
It'd kick your butt while throwing the party in your mouth.
Absolutely.
One
Party in
thing,
your mouth.
one thing I've noticed is a lot of brewers are getting a lot better at hiding the alcohol percentage. Like a lot of these, 9, 10, sometimes even 11% beers, you taste them and it doesn't taste boozy. I mean, and like you said, it's a scary beer because it can creep up on you. If you're not paying attention to how much is in there, 2 of these and some of these guys can just be done night.
Green Flash's brand new Green Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Super smooth. Just super hop forward. Nice clean palate, a little wet, just very drinkable beer. A little 4-pack of that's like, I think $10 or $12.
Wow.
Me and Michelle sat down, we had, 1.5 each maybe. Really buzzed, like quick.
Mm-hmm.
The buzz came quick. And you're like, that's a dangerous beer. It's just too smooth, drinks too easy at that level. But that's good because, like you said, you used to get a 10, 12% beer and it was rough. You had to work it down,
Yeah.
Some of the barley wines are like that. You get some of those barley wines and they're just really delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Very resiny and raisiny and just easy drinking.
Yep.
And that's 12, 13%.
Yeah,
man.
wow. It creeps up on you, man.
Chris and his meads over there.
Oh, yeah.
You ever drink out of Coachella Valley Brewing, just remember if Chris brings any meads out, watch yourself.
Really?
Because those things are like 16% and they drink like just delicious, refreshing Kool-Aid. Like they're so good. And they'll just beat you down. Like you have no idea what you're drinking. It's just too easy drinking. For something that he's been working on for 24 months, and he brings it to you, and it's just going to beat you up.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, a boozy beer I'm going to be turned off by it, and probably not going to want to have more than one of them.
Whereas that, especially as this is warming up right now, there's really that mango is really coming through.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy how well that's coming through. Let's talk a little bit about Three Floyds. Again, this is where I love sitting down with somebody that is just a beer trader that I know has got beers in his fridge that you just can't get in the state of California.
Yeah.
This gentleman's coming out of Carlsbad right now. He's got phenomenal beer selection out of that into Southern California.
He
We can walk into any store and buy beers that we would fight to get our hands on right now.
Yep.
Where we're just excited to have a Total Wine, the beer section's so good. Where he's just like, I went to Circle K and got, this rarest bottle of Stone you could ever get. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a hot spot of the beer culture that there's so many breweries coming up. There's so much great beer there. It's so easy to grab a great beer. We'll get here in the valley in about another 15 years. We're always 15 years behind everything.
Yeah. I mean, we got a decent start. I think we got 2 breweries right now, and
we got our own Total Wine.
Hopefully, just keeps going up from there. But Three Floyds, they're out of like I said, Munster, Indiana, and they're not big enough to make enough beer to distribute to a larger area because a lot of their beers, like they're most known for Zombie Dust, which is a pale ale.
You
I've
gotta have Zombie Dust. Super good.
It's one of the best beers I've ever had. It's
super good.
It's a pale ale. I mean, it's another beer you could drink.
That
4 or 5
that is
of them
a good
easy.
session beer. It's a low ABV, but it's got that great hop forward. But it's not too dry or too bitter. It's super clean drinking.
Yeah.
I've only had it twice. I've had 2 bottles of it, and they were so good. Such a good beer.
I mean that's a beer they make it, and it sells out at the brewery like in a day. I mean, you see people walking out with 2 and 3 cases just loading out their car. But I mean, it does see some small distribution to the like I said, Chicago and probably to local where the brewery's at, but I mean, other than that, you're not. If you can find it on a shelf, I mean, you're basically, you just.
I was not too long ago. I was in St. Louis for like one day. Like with the company I work for, they sent me for general manager orientation for one day. And at one point, I leave the hotel because the hotel had like one decent beer on tap, and then it had it was Schifly. It had anything from Schifly. They had a Schifly IPA on tap, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But that was like their one local craft beer on tap at the hotel, and they had nothing else. I'm like, I'm gonna walk to a liquor store. Boom, got on my phone, found one. Boom, walked over. And I walked in, and like they had a whole cooler, and like one whole door was like 3 Floyds and Founders, just boom, 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 And I was like, oh my god, you know. If I could just ship beer home right now, honey, I need to spend $1,000. Don't worry, it's for the show. So I grab a bottle, boom, Zombie Dust, and just pay for it. Boom, head to my hotel room, chill it, and I'm just pouring this big glass of Zombie Dust, and I'm sitting up in this hotel room, looking out at St. Louis, and it's pouring rain, and I'm just sitting there thinking, this is fucking so good. This beer is so good. And it's so great to do that because there's so many beers that we drink in California that are so good. Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Younger, Stone's Ruination, Stone's special releases, the Lips of Faith special releases by New Belgium. There's so many beers that we get our hands on. We're so excited about them because they're within our 4 walls. They're within our zone. Mm-hmm. But when we get something special from out of the state and we get a chance to drink it together, I think that's just the best. I think we need to keep doing many episodes of the out-of-state stuff. I was talking to somebody about the difference between the big guys and the little guys, and I was like, well, all the big companies, most of them are not American-owned anymore. They're owned by foreign entities, and most of them have shrank by 2 to 4% for the last 5 years. They've had a 2 to 4% shrink, and what can they do to fix that? Nothing. They can either contract and operate below that level, which they can't do.
Yeah.
They have, Super Bowl ads to pay for.
Yeah.
Or they could increase sales.
Yeah.
And the only way they can do that is by creating craft beers within their brand that, the national consumer thinks is a craft beer and will pay for.
Right.
The other piece is that craft beer has grown by 10 to 15% for that same time.
Wow.
So you see that 1 or 2, 3% shrink on the top is a 15% growth on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And they see that. Like the big brands see that. I mean, I understand building brands. I've worked in that industry for years. And that tells a story.
Yeah, I mean, those 1 to 2%, that's a huge deal. I mean, it's not, to the common, average Joe, sit there and look at it, it's like they're making billions and billions of dollars every year selling this beer. And it's, to them, they look at it as 1%. That's a huge loss for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're scrambling, saying, "What can we do to fix this? What's going on here?" Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see craft beer, to have a decent chunk of the market share. But I mean, I think we're still quite a few years away from that happening.
I think so. I think craft beer has got, a couple of bubbles need to pop along the way. Mm-hmm. There's going to have to be some conglomeration. There's going to have to be some growth and development before that moment happens. You've got some pretty big breweries out there right now. So, Samuel Adams, New Belgium, Sierra Nevada.
Yeah. Well, I mean, New Belgium, Sierra Nevada, Lagunitas, and Oscar Blues all either opened or are opening very soon. Second
North
breweries.
Carolina.
Yeah.
All in North Carolina.
Lagunitas is in Chicago, but Sierra Nevada, New Belgium, and Oscar Blues is they're in North Carolina. Yeah, I know that Oscar Blues is up and running in North Carolina. I'm not sure how far along Sierra Nevada and New Belgium are, and I know that Lagunitas in Chicago is either up and running or going to be very soon.
Very soon.
But I mean, that says a lot about the craft beer industry that these breweries are able to open second locations, because how many Anheuser-Busch breweries are there across this country?
Yeah,
there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many craft breweries that got one brewery, and that's all they're doing. I mean, look at Stone. Stone makes a lot of beer out of one brewery. Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal brewery. It's an amazing place, but I mean, everything they make comes out of one place.
Yeah, that's pretty audacious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been great sharing beer with you guys.
Yeah.
Phenomenal last selection. I would have to say that
Definitely.
it's the winner for me tonight. By all means, the 3 Floyds definitely topped the night for me. Cheers to your holidays. I hope all you guys have an awesome Christmas with your families. We're going to wrap this up here on Beer and Culture Web Show. We appreciate you guys listening and sticking with us this long. Turned into a much longer episode than we planned. But, conversation was flowing, was easy, and the beer was amazing.
Sir. Definitely.
We're going to see you guys next week. Hopefully we're going to be out at a local restaurant, checking out a brand new restaurant that put itself together in Indian Wells that's doing a really respectable beer lineup, as well as some mid to higher end food selections. So we're going to be over there with them. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Send us out to your friends. Get some likes going on the page. Tell us what you'd like to see. Hit us up. Levi, awesome. Love that sweater. You're going to sell that on eBay and make some money. I'm telling you, Justin, always a pleasure. Peace out.